Alright, YouTube, it's the Shadow King, King Nazru, and I'm here with my review of The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. Now, for those who don't know, which is highly unlikely, The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies is the final chapter in the Hobbit trilogy, which is the prequel to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now, I just saw it today, and I bought my ticket and saw the 3D version. 3D glasses, everyone! So I can see in 3D. The problem is, there was only one scene that looked anything like 3D. That was when the Dwarven King, Thorin Oakenshield, was pointing his sword at the screen. Oh boy, I'm sure glad I paid $3 extra just for that one moment. Anyway, the movie is basically about the final chapters of the Hobbit book. And yes, we all know the Hobbit altogether was one story as opposed to the Lord of the Rings, which was three stories. And I'm not going to get into the argument of whether or not it should have been all self-contained in one story or been separate into a trilogy. Now, what it was uh, about Lake Town surviving the attack of Smaug and ultimately overcoming it by uh, the the man Bard killing the dragon Smaug. Although things did happen a little differently. While I did find the fight with Smaug in the book and in some incarnations to be rather anticlimactic, the fact that Cumberpatch started to condescendingly talk to Bard and say how his and his son's death was inevitable and how they were all going to burn in fire, it just made it more epic. So that when Bard does shoot the arrow at Smaug's heart, spoiler alert, it feels more epic and just more satisfying. Then it goes into uh, Bilbo Baggins and the rest of the dwarves securing their dwarven kingdom, while Thorin is being consumed by greed and the obsession to find the Arkenstone, which is some say is the source of greed, which drove his Oakenshield's grandfather to madness through greed, and Smaug, the dragon, kind of hinted at that. And meanwhile, the humans come to the dwarves for because they promised to help reimburse their favor for helping them get to the mountain in return for helping restore their city, or town to be more accurate. And the elves have come to claim some of their jewelry just for prestige reasons. Uh, However, the dwarves refuse, and they are prepared to start war with them. But, however, the orcs, which are pretty much goblins, are coming in as well, and it's all become a giant clash. And ultimately, uh, these people have to give up their personal grievances and have to learn to work together to fight this huge army. I, all in all, I really did love this movie. I loved the torment of Thorin Oakenshield struggling to keep his honor and integrity while fighting the temptation of greed. Uh, like some of the things that kind of hinted at the Lord of the Rings, even though the original book never did. But you kind of have to like expand to this because you know it's going to that. As opposed to when the books were originally written, they didn't. I don't know if J.R.R. Tolkien knew if he was going to expand to the Lord of the Rings. Uh, I do like how the fights are very grand and epic, and everything comes together. And the only thing I didn't like was how they used the Eagles. Yes, we all know the Eagles, the giant Deus Ex Machina of the movies. I mean, they they literally came out of freaking nowhere, with no build up whatsoever, and they solved a lot of the problems of the armies. Oh, I did like how Bill Baggins uh, was uh, was trying to bring back Thorin's dignity and sense of honor, while also trying to use his own uh, somewhat selflessness to get these armies to work together, because he wants to keep his honor and integrity, because he gave his word that he would help these people. Uh, and they do make slight hints that Bilbo is being tempted by Sauron's ring, which is going to be take place in Lord of the Rings. Uh, Another thing, part of the fight was the fight between Legolas and this one of the orc generals, I guess. And I really liked it that Legolas struggled, like in the last movie, even more so than in this movie, because I feel that Legolas in the movies was way too perfect, and he just did things that were just practically ridiculously over the top perfect. And to see him struggle to actually earn his fight, and there were parts where I thought he was actually going to suffer some severe damage. I knew he wasn't going to die, but they really came close to making him seem that way. But but yeah, it was nice to see that Legolas wasn't being a complete Gary Stew over this. Um, the romance between the elf girl and the I think her name was Tariel and the dwarf guy, I forgot his name. That was pretty nice, but it was a bit of a shame they never got to kiss. Though I did suppose that does compliment it as well, that it was a love that was so good, but it never got a chance to kiss, it never fully developed. Oh, and that's a bit tragic. It's not as tragic as the death of Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, but it is really close. And so yeah, that's pretty much everything that's happened. All in all, I would have to give this movie 9.5 out of 10. Really great movie, highly recommended. Uh, so yeah, this was a nice way to start off the year, even though this movie came out last month. But still, nice way to start off the year. So, stay tuned for the next video, because next time I'm going to be talking about the latest episode of Sailor Moon Crystals. Catch you guys later.